Hello, Mr. Masood.
Good afternoon.
We welcome you. Thank you so much that you have accepted our invitation and interview proposal. I would like to give to our audience a very brief knowledge about our today's guest's personality and background. So, Mr. Yasir Masood has years of experience in research, communication, training, and development. He's a broadcast journalist, security and political analyst, development practitioner, strategic and communication expert, academic researcher, columnist, writer, and English linguist and poet. So the person of such a sheer range is our today's guest. So, Mr. Masood, we have already witnessed so much during the previous year that we have got a very serious and important questions, and we wanted you, as the skilled expert and specialist in the sphere of international policy, politics, and at the same time international ties to satisfy our curiosity. The very first question of mine will be associated with current Pakistani and Afghan clashes that have occurred recently on the border of two states. So exactly, what are the historical and political preconditions of the current Pakistan-Afghanistan crisis? What key factors have contributed to its escalation?
Well, Kareem, thank you very much for having me on your show. I think on relations, we have to go back to the time of 1970s, especially to the time of the Cold War, when the Soviet Union as a front ally state with the United States. So the same people, they were mujahideen. They were being trained. They were being, mentored. They were being financed by the Then come after the Cold War, then come the 9/11, and what happened during that time that these breathing space, they were trained, they had arsenals left over from the United States and NATO, and then they became which went into the hands of many others. Like, for example, in the region, we call it like into the hands of India and many other proxies. So that is why I think, fast forward to the Taliban government, Pakistan supported the Taliban be in power because Pakistan had some concerns. For example, I would say that Pakistan's security establishment, Pakistan were at least four major key elements will be addressed by the power of the Taliban. The first one was threat from the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is a faction of the Taliban government. So we were hoping that the Taliban in office, they would have a control on the TTP because they operate from the other side of the border, from Afghanistan, and then they were typically fair. Second one was that there was a huge influence of India in Afghanistan. So by that they would be able to at least eliminate the Indian influence in Afghanistan. The third one was that Taliban will they will have a positive stance towards Pakistan, and then it will create a sort of win-win cooperation, not only for Pakistan, but for the entire region. stable Afghanistan is in the interest of Pakistan and is in the interest of the neighbors, including China for that matter. Pakistan to grow is that the neighbor should be in peace. And as you know, that Taliban was, the Afghanistan was embroiled for the last 40 years but I think the Pakistani establishment, Pakistani politicians, and Pakistani policymakers misjudged this, I think, big time because um, one of the reasons I would say that Pakistan was considering the Afghan Taliban as a when they were in power, they emboldened, and then they appeared as a political entity. The second one, I would say that agreement, Pakistan has been extending olive branch to Taliban, the way Pakistan has mediated, the way in brokering a peace deal between the Taliban and the US is exemplary. But I think what uh, sort of done that time that there has to be a written agreement with the Taliban, a written agreement including the TTP, horrendous threat for Pakistan because alone in 2024 the casualties, the fatalities have gone up more than 1,000, which is fatalities in one decade after 2014. This is the highest number. So we can imagine that how horrendous. Pakistan has been constantly um, asking Taliban that, and also been providing solid proofs to TTP operates from the Afghan soil. And this is the one of the main objective of the Afghan soil will not be used for any kind of militancy, for any kind of cross-border terrorism. But the infiltration continues. Taliban openly admits that the TTP, they are our guests, they will remain here, and we will keep on mentoring them. We will think after 2 years of the talks, after 2 years of providing constant proofs to the Afghan Taliban, I think Pakistan to take this action.
In case of further escalation of the conflict between two countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan, could India exploit the situation for its own interests?
India has already been exploiting this situation at which Pakistan is facing. Remember that Pakistan has been under fourth generation warfare, fifth generation warfare, and ninth generation warfare. Let me give you a model, an example of Yugoslavia. This is the exact model which has been that how to create more insurgency, how to keep Pakistan in a boiling pot, and how to create instability in Afghanistan to India because Ajit Dovil, which is, we call it Ajit Dovil Doctrine. India is going to infiltrate such kind of proxies in Pakistan because their aim is to isolate and keep Pakistan in such kind of a situation where Pakistan is being pushed to the geostrategic and geopolitical during the Cold War. That's what happened during the 9/11. And after the 9/11, this country has suffered big time. For example, Pakistan has lost Pakistani people. We have sacrificed 80,000 people. And then the biggest sacrifice I would say was and the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor initiated in 2015, a ray of hope for Pakistan because work on its geoeconomic policies. But India wants to push back to Pakistan in that situation where instability on ground and also instability instilled in the minds of the people. So it's a multi-front kind of warfare which India is fomenting inside Pakistan through these kind of proxies. There are India is it is to be estimated that India has invested around Afghanistan, and prior government before Taliban they had a very strong nexus. Pakistan was hoping that after the Taliban, it completely went the other way around. So India is openly exploiting this situation, not on this occasion, but for Pakistan has captured the serving naval officer um, Kulbhushan Yadav in is in Pakistan's custody, and the aim was to create such kind of nexus, such kind of um, you know create instability with the help of the proxies like the TTP and the Balochistan Liberation Army is to create instability, is to target the Chinese engineers and workers and to create a fear in the that is why Pakistan is also suffering because of this. There is some kind of distrust Pakistan cannot afford. So I think the objective is very clear, is to create instability, is to foment more instability in Pakistan, convince the rest of the world that Pakistan is not a safe haven for investment. And with this, what will happen? Pakistan will be, and there will not be any investment in Pakistan. But none of this happened. Pakistan security forces, Pakistan government, Pakistani neighbors, including China, know the regional situation, that what countries are proving to be a sort of, they're creating herd because regional stability is equally important, not only for Pakistan, but also for the neighbors.
Uh, Mr. Masood, you have touched Chinese factor as well. So the next question of mine is associated with Chinese factor in international regarding to international policy and what is going on in your region. So the question of mine associated with China is: can Islamabad count or rely on support from Beijing in the event of deterioration of relations with India or Taliban government in Afghanistan? So can Pakistan, Islamabad, official Islamabad, rely on Pekin's, Beijing's, or Chinese support and help?
Pakistan and China have, so many convergence on so many, areas. For example, corridor is one of the prime project of the Belt and Road Initiative. Pakistan is a partner of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We share with China. We have a very good strategic relations with China, which turned out to be a brotherly relation with the passage of time. And then earlier is, of course, is in the favor of Beijing. So Beijing cannot afford to have, because one way or the other, it will have its negative implications on the relations between Afghanistan and Pakistan, and then Belt and Road Initiative. So I think by all means, Pakistan would definitely take help of Beijing in. As far as Beijing is concerned, there is no, official statements on part of China as yet. But I think the working between China and Pakistan, and I think China's role has been very clear. They work as a step. So I think China would follow its policy of peaceful coexistence, peaceful neighborhood policy. And in that, Pakistan are very natural ally. India has already given an official statement blaming Pakistan in Afghanistan. So the thing is, situation is pretty much clear. And I think that in such and Pakistan is, I think Pakistan should also mobilize further its diplomatic support from Beijing and other neighboring countries. Issued an official statement believing that Taliban are not only a threat to Pakistan but also for the rest of they don't share good relations with the Afghan of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. So the question is being unable to garner support from its neighbors. So if Taliban couldn't, and they had such a themselves that they are not non-state actors anymore, but they are a political entity who look after their in business. For example, they are very much serious to bring peace and stability in Afghanistan. And this fear was already present that after the inception of the Taliban in Afghanistan, there will be a same, and I think exactly the situation went back to square one in Afghanistan. So I think neighbors are already concerned. A role of a stabilizing factor, and Pakistan and China are already, I think, on the same page.
Mr. Masood, it's also common knowledge that on 20th of January, Donald Trump is going to assume the office in the White House. So how will the United States approach policy in the region? And in particular, how might Washington stance toward Pakistan and the Indo-Pakistani peace process change after 20th of January of current year?
I think we have to see this matter in a bigger picture when we talk about the United States in this region. Pakistan shares a good partnership with the United States of America, but when United States initiated a war inside Afghanistan and stayed in Afghanistan for around 20 years, and the Taliban in particular in Afghanistan, because they were the fighting force on ground against the NATO forces. And this is something to ponder upon, that they have left the government in the hands of the same non-state actors with whom they fight. And then United States of America pleaded Pakistan to give them a support. Pakistan, of course, did. But why I'm saying that we have to look this matter in a bigger picture, because this kind of extreme started in the Middle East first. Al-Qaeda, for example, was a main faction, and then ISIS, Daesh was also present there, still in the Middle East. Then I think this kind of migration of extremist ideology came into our region. Why I'm saying this? Because they believe in the repressive policies. And this is on record that United States entering, such kind of non-state actors and proxies in the Middle East. And now some of the reports, situation for many days now, and some of the analysts believe that America is still pumping it in Afghanistan every week. So I think these are very contrasting reports to portraying over the years. So that's why I think currently we still have to see. But the sector is we all know that he's a hawkish kind of a statesman. And then we also have to put this into consideration that sharing, defense ties with India for many years now, just to under the policy of the Quad alliance, and then the Indo-Pacific strategy of United States will not change. Rather, it will further exacerbate after the new incoming government. So I think the what I see is that there will be more support to India has to deal this kind of situation diplomatically with further alliance with China. But we have to see that which is further emanating from this region, especially from Afghanistan in the case of TTP, in the proxies of like BLA, be hard times. But I think diplomatically, Pakistan has to play a very proactive role.
Finally, I would like to touch our bilateral ties, the bilateral ties between Azerbaijan and Pakistan. So, how would you characterize the current state of bilateral relations between Azerbaijan and Pakistan? In which areas do you see the most noticeable progress, and where is the potential yet to be fully realized?
For potential still available between both countries. Both countries share a very good relations with each other. We have good strategy, and there are a lot of convergences where Pakistan and Azerbaijan can work. For example, like the cultural relationship between both countries. Defense area, I would say that this is the area where both countries have a lot of potential which can be tapped. Then we have a problem of energy. Both can create a sort of win-win situation for each other. And I think when we talk in terms of the relations, times have changed. Today we live in the world of multipolar world order where different countries they are uniting with each other. I think Azerbaijan and Pakistan relationship is marking a new era of friendly relationship with each other, where both nations have huge potential. Pakistan is considered one of the youngest population. I'm sure that equally there is huge potential in Azerbaijan as well. So I think defense ties is one of the areas where both have this potential and can further take the relationship to new heights.
Mr. Masood, thank you so much for your time that you have shared with us, and at the same time for your really interesting and important talk and deep insights. Very important. We do really need this information, and we do really need the information and insights to get them from as skilled experts, as international experts as you are. Thank you so much, sir, and see you.
My pleasure, Kareem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.